Thank you so much. Now I give the floor to Tulika for the next part of the plenary session.
Thank you, Roberto. So it's a pleasure to welcome you all to the session where we have a very some set of nice, interesting talks. And to start off, we will have a talk by Thomas Swami from Johns Hopkins University. Thomas, please go ahead and share your slides and start when you're ready. Just a word for the audience. Please hold off your questions until the talk is over. And at that point, you should use the raise hands feature in Zoom, and then we will get to you in an order of time. And if you, for whatever reason, can't use Zoom, please do put in a message or a question in the chat. But again, this should be done after the talk. And for those of you who are watching the webcast, you can use Discord plenary for putting in your question. So Thomas, I'm going to give you a warning about 3 minutes before the end of your talk. And please go ahead and start.
Okay, thank you very much. So indeed, my name is Tomasz and I am the chair of the CMS Young Scientist Committee. However, today I'm speaking on behalf of the LHC-based Young Scientist Fora. As an introduction, let me show you two plots with the demographics at LHC. On the left plot, we see each collaboration at LHC in a different column, and the colors mean that with the blue, we denote the number of people who are in the junior category. So junior means either a BSc, a MSc, and a PhD student, and the postdocs together. And so with the green, we have the seniors denoted. So essentially on this plot, what I want to show you is that half of each collaboration is in this junior category. And the other interesting plot to look at is the percentage of females in these both categories. So in this case, the experiments are in the rows, and we see that the yellow or this orange, which is the percentage of females in the juniors, is always bigger than in the blue. And essentially, like on average, we can say that we have a 10% increase of females in the junior category. So in order to represent these demographics, young scientist committees were created in all the LHC experiments. The first one was in 2010 from LEs. So this is called the junior community. And they have 3 junior representatives whose mandate is for 2 years. And then in 2013, CMS's Young Scientist Committee was formed. We have about 20 members with the chair, a deputy, and a secretary as coordinators of the team. And our mandate is for 1 year, which can be extended to another year. And in 2014, LHCP's Early Career, Gender, and Diversity Office was formed. They have 2 members, which is usually 1 male and 1 female, and their mandate is for 2 years. And finally, in 2017, Atlas's Early Career Scientist Board was formed. They have 7 members. They have this membership for 2 years, and their chair is monthly rotating, and they also replace half of their members in every year, so they have a continuous change of people. The aim of these committees is to represent the interests of young scientists, to ensure the communication between the young scientists and management, to improve the recognition of work among the young scientists, and to provide forum to gather and discuss topics relevant to the young community. So from these 4 points, the first 3 is achieved somewhat differently by the 4 experiments. In LEs, these 3 junior representatives vote in the collaboration board and the management board. In Atlas, the committee meets a few times with management, and they also send out surveys to the young scientists to check the status of the collaboration. In CMS, the committee is an ex officio member in the collaboration board, which means that we can attend, but we cannot vote. And we have quarterly meetings with the spokesperson team and the CB team. LHCP is also a non-voting member at the CB, and they also have frequent meetings with the management, and they also send out surveys to the young scientists. So the point D is ensured by several programs. which can be organized either as the individual committees or all together as the Young Scientist Fora. In the following, I'm going to go through the programs which are organized by the individual committees. So all the four experiments have some kind of introduction to their collaboration, which we could call induction courses, and these committees help the organization of these induction courses. And then in Atlas and CMS, there are certain programs in which we try to put together the juniors with the seniors in an informal settings. So in Atlas, it's called Meet and Eat, and in CMS, we have this Lunch with the Professors event. Then there are certain events in which we only organize for the juniors from the juniors. So in LHC, there is the journal club, and in CMS we have this dinner and drinks, usually at CMS weeks, where you can really open up the floor to get feedback from the juniors about any complaints if they have, which they wouldn't do in a formal environment. In LHC, there is a junior diversity workshop, which is really just denoted for like it's an interactive workshop for diversity management and things connected to diversity. And then in LHC, Atlas and LHCP, there are certain analysis tutorials. So these are organized by the experiments, but the Young Scientist committees help out in this case. So this analysis starter kit is actually a shared event between LHC and LHCP. And then all the collaborations try to put forward the work of young scientists, either in the form of talks or posters, and this could happen by juniors or for juniors. And so the format can be very different in the collaborations, and usually it happens during the collaboration weeks. And then in Atlas, there was a workshop in last year about grant writing, which then evolved into something bigger, which I'm going to mention a bit later. In the CMS, we also had an event where we concentrated on job matching for academia. We have several events for industry if somebody wants to go to the industry. So this event really aimed if somebody wants to stay in the academia. So we try to match people who are looking for postdocs or PhD with professors who are looking for candidates. And also in CMS, we participated in the reflection group. So the aim of the reflection group was to revise the spokesperson election procedures. And actually in this year, we had a spokesperson election and 85% of the people who could vote voted, which can be considered as a success since in this change, what we allowed that all the postdocs could vote as well. So the Young Scientist Fora organizes programs all together, or they can organize programs with a yearly rotating basis. So and then we in the past met once a year, and in the future we plan to meet twice a year in order to discuss common issues, share tips and best practices, and plan the common programs. So actually in this year, we decided to extend the portfolio of the common programs with a series of soft skill workshops, which I am going to detail in this slide. So we already had the first one in the 15th of April. So that's, and then the topic there was making the best out of working from home. So that was something which is super relevant for the times of COVID. So we had a presentation. So the general format of the event is that we have a presentation by an expert, which is followed by a roundtable discussion. And in the end, we have a question and answer session with all the participants. So I brought two plots here. So the top one is the career level distribution. You see that we had half of the participants were PhD students, and actually we decided that we opened it up on, so like, you know, the original term was that this is for the juniors, but we opened it up to anybody. So you can see that we actually had 12% of seniors attending the event as well, which is kind of the same percentage as the undergraduate students. And then the other plot here is the distribution per experiment. So we see that like from CMS and Atlas, we had the most people, which is coming from the size of the experiment. And also we opened it up for so like other experiments at LHC. So we had 39 people attending from other experiments. So the next of this workshop series is going to be the 3rd of June, so some days from today, on this next coming Wednesday, where we are concentrating on CV writing for both academia and industry. And essentially, our idea was to have this kind of soft skill related workshops in every 3 months. So you can see that we have something in April, June, and the next one is going to be in September, which is organized by the CERN alumni. So they have this series of events, which is called Moving Out of Academia to Something. And in this year, that something is MedTech. I also put here the links for people if you want to register for the upcoming events or see what happened in the past. And then after this alumni event, there is our usual LHC Career Networking event. So in this career networking event, we have presentations from LHC alumni, and the idea is that we could get some insight into career opportunities outside of academia by meeting the alumni of LHC Experiment with the help of the CERN alumni. So again, the structure is very similar. There are presentations, a roundtable discussion, and you can also ask questions from the panelists. The fields, the range of fields kind of diverse. We get people from industry, finance, IT, and so on. So we also have the next event on the 16th of November, and I put here the link for possible registration and so on.
3 minutes.
The other event, which is rotating in a yearly manner, is this conversation over ice cream. So here we have short presentations about a topic which is changing every year for a general audience. And in the past, we had ice creams to also attend the event. In this year, we only have screens only. So in 2018, we had dark matter, dark energy related topics. In 2019, it was neutrino physics. And in this year, which is going to be the 16th of June, it's going to be about the future of particle physics. We have presenters from these experiments, and also we plan to include some of these future planning exercises as well. So further future plans include that we have a training for the working group conveners, since they are usually chosen from the physics analysis merit and not on previous leadership experiments. So we thought that it would be nice to have some kind of leadership management education for the conveners. And this we plan to have by professional trainers. And actually Atlas did it last year, so we tried to have it done for all the other experiments. And then the other program which we plan for the further future is this LHC-wide mentoring system. So again, Atlas had something similar like that, and LHCB did a survey in 2019 in which they concluded that 73% of the people who took the survey didn't have a mentor, and those who had it, they all found it very useful. So the idea is to have like a mentor from the other experiments, and with this, we could offer this as an excellence program, which means that we would limit the number of places and also the duration of the event. So the summary, despite the differences in the approaches of the committee, the goals are common. We would like to represent the interests of young scientists and provide a forum for the topics that are relevant to the young community at LHC. I should also mention that in the past we had difficulties to engage the young community. However, this is kind of improving since we have all these events and there is an increased trust in the fora. So as I mentioned, we have several programs upcoming, from which, just as a reminder, we have the next version of the soft skill workshops on next Wednesday, and then we have the ice cream event on the 16th of June. And the further plans include this working group convener training and the LHC-wide mentoring system. So we created a new e-group where you can contact all of us. This is the LHC Early Career Scientist Fora at CERN.ch. But if you would like to reach us individually, then I just put here the e-groups for each of the committees. And with this, I conclude my talk. Thanks a lot for your attention.
Thank you very much, Tamas, for this very nice summary and for all the work that the committees are putting into this. So I open the floor now for questions from the audience. Please raise your hands on Zoom or put in a chat message if So maybe while I give people just a few minutes to think about their question, I could ask. So I guess it's a two-pronged question, but if you were to think of, any one of these efforts that you think had the most impact in sort of improving the situation for young scientists, would you be able to pick one? Maybe it's tough. And, or I mean, it's related to my other, so you could choose to answer that. Or is there a particular thing that you would like the not so young and senior people to do to improve the situation for the young scientists?
Okay, so the first part of the question, I think the soft skill workshop was really a good choice for us. It's very successful. So if you kind of add up these numbers, and we had around 300 people on the first workshop, and for the second workshop, since it's upcoming, I can also tell you that the numbers are now around like 480. So that's really nice number for. So the number of registrants for this event is really high. So I think this is very popular and also very helpful. So I think this is one thing which we could do as a young scientist. And regarding the seniors, I mean, it's very nice that we can have all these events with like lunch with the professors and so on. So I think like in CMS we had this event with this job matching. So that was our first try. It was also very successful. Maybe that's something which we could in the future, if we had more participants from the seniors, that would be improved.
Thank you. I think I there's another question. Giovanni, please go ahead.
Yes, Thomas, I have a quick curiosity, intrigued by your slide 9. I was trying to compare the success rate for the various collaborations. For instance, in LHCB, there are more or less half of the people compared to Atlas that attended these skills, but in one of the earlier slides, you showed that the juniors there are maybe 1/5 compared to Atlas. So have you tried to reach out to the junior people in the various collaborations to understand why they could not join this workshop?
Yeah, I mean, like I think this is really how we are advertising the event. So in CMS, we sent it out to the whole collaboration, and in Atlas, there was like a newsletter sent out. And so, like, like the way how we try to advertise it is different in each collaborations. And I think that's the reason why we had less people from LEs in this year. And we are really hoping that this is going to be much better for like the next event on the 3rd of June.